just moved me. It was beyond words, beyond language, and beyond understanding. They put a box around it. They've got the diagnosis. This is what's happening for me. It won't change for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do that. I'm working very much with whatever comes at any point. It can go. And so far, we're doing pretty well with that. It requires nothing less than changing your entire reference framework. Everything has to change. All right. My name's Sahaja. I have a Qigong name, Yuantong. And I've been teaching Zhineng Qigong in Western Australia, in Perth, since 2016. Before I taught Zhineng Qigong, it was a natural evolution. I taught whole foods macrobiotic cooking, which looks at food and yin and yang, and very similar to TCM information. I did that for 21 years. And there's a link between Qigong and the macrobiotic community, and it just gradually evolved into Qigong. As I got older also, it just felt like it's time to go inward. I did my initial training with Mingtong Gu in America. I'm originally American, living in Australia. And I brought Mingtong to Australia twice for a retreat. And nobody had ever heard of Zhineng Qigong before. This was the first time, and we actually had about 50 people for that first retreat, and that sort of opened the door. I have such a strong connection with the Chinese culture. And now I just want to share a bit. My experience in China was so, I can't explain it. It nourished my heart in a way that went far beyond just learning a practice, being in a retreat. There was something that just, I can't explain. I already have a strong connection with the Tao, Lao Tzu, Chuang-Tzu, just from my past, the Tao Te Ching. So to actually be in the country with the waterfalls and the bamboo and even the language and everything just moved me. And I had many amazing experiences there outside of the retreat as well. I just wanted to add that I went in 2018. It's quite a large retreat with the Tao Hearts in Sanya and in Hainan. And then again, the next year to Qingchang Mountain, 2019.
What was your first experience of Qigong?
Oh, okay. My first experience of all Qigong was, I think now 19, maybe 20 years ago. I was quite ill. I had spent time in India, developed dengue fever, which turned into a long-term chronic fatigue situation, the way there's long COVID now, and quite serious, pretty much bedbound for 2.5 years. And that was when my interest in using food as medicine awakened, as well as not straight away, but maybe a couple years into that experience. Can't remember exactly how I ended up in a Qigong course, learning a particular practice called Shiba Shi, and like a Tai Chi, an easy move, and also 8 brocades. I remember that. And I could hardly stand, to be honest. I watched people around me, and that was a long time ago. I was in my 40s, and I just sort of made a mental note, come back to Qigong as soon as you can. It was like, I know this is for me. I really know this is for me. Down the track, I did practice this Shiba Shi, which was not much commitment. It was maybe 15, 20 minutes a day, but I never missed a day because I could feel just that short investment of time each day made a difference. And then it was in 2015, so that's 7 years ago, a friend of mine in America sent me the email about the healing sounds that Ming Tonggu was teaching. I thought how interesting. I didn't immediately see the connection between Qigong, the emotions, the sounds. I hadn't really focused in that way yet, but I began to practice the sounds. I did the course and was very early on. I remember just feeling a happiness for no reason, like an inner joy just began to awaken my heart during the day. And I called my partner on the phone and I said, do you feel good for no reason? Do you feel happy for no reason at all? And he said, I do feel pretty good. I said, do you think it could have anything to do with those sounds? And he said, I don't know. Do you think? So we thought we observed more carefully. And it became very clear that they had a very potent effect on the mood, the balance, harmony. And that just led me to just go, right, that's it. I'm going to the Chi Center in America. And so by the end of that year, that was August, by December, I was in California at that time doing my first retreat. I should add also that during my very rough physical healing time, I did 18 years ago have a case or a situation of breast cancer. And that was not a surprise because of the stagnant energy. You know, at that time, the fatigue was overwhelming. It was incredibly overwhelming. And now looking back, I can see that, wow, if you don't move your body and you're completely stagnant like that, you know, it was a couple of years. Of course, the body, so many things can go wrong. So I also will add that through that experience with cancer, the fear for me was bigger than the physical situation. You know, it was an emotional journey more than anything, and layers and layers of encountering. So in a way, that was like, I think there's a story, I can't remember the details, about a man lying on his bed and his master hung a sword over his head that could drop at any moment. And the purpose of that wasn't to scare him, it was to keep him awake. It was to keep him alert. And for me, that was the journey with breast cancer. It's like, didn't want to die yet, not when I was 50 years old. You know, I just turned 69, I might add. So it's like now I'm starting to look at life in a different way, like, okay, you know, let's make peace with this journey of the physical body. But it's been a deep journey for me, and through that, it has enriched my capacity as a teacher and Qigong healer in so many ways, and many more lessons to come and layers to explore.
What was your most profound experience of Qi?
Oh, gosh, so many. That's a hard question. So many. I would have to say it was that first retreat in California. There was a maze that someone had done very up high on a hill, and there was a chanting of Han Yuan Ling Tong. And it was quite new for me because I basically had done the sounds course and jumped on a plane and went into a retreat. And this Han Yuan Ling Tong, he was chanting, we were listening, just going in. It started to wake things up. It just moved me. It was beyond words, beyond language, and beyond understanding. You know, I don't go down that path of past life stuff, but it just felt like it just woke something up. I've been here before. I know these sounds. I know this, I can't explain, feeling. Anyway, after that, I couldn't go back into the retreat. I just went for a walk, and I went up this hill, and I was chanting Han Yuan Tong from the outer ring of the maze to the center, and then back to the outer. And I just really had quite a profound experience, feeling like meeting the self, meeting the true self in that moment.
You mentioned that you had health concerns in the past. Are they resolved now? And has Qigong helped?
Absolutely. I don't think I would be here without it. Some people are very quick to say, oh, I've had the test, I'm fine. And that could just be a remnant of my own awareness or fear, how things come, things go. But in this moment, I feel very well, and I don't test myself every 6 months, but my last tests were clear, and I go with that. I go with my feeling. And that being said, this year has been so interesting, and actually the whole Qigong time, because I feel that I have met so many physical challenges. And, I am aware that I'm at a different age than some people in Qigong, and I'm younger than some and older than some. And I've said to my students a few times, it'll be interesting when, I'm curious when some of the teachers or other people get to that age close to 70, because I'm working with my reference framework all the time to not believe the story of aging. That being said, because I didn't have such an athletic, strong, healthy body growing up, I have had other challenges, not so serious, but very annoying. So I work with them. I had plantar fasciitis, which doesn't allow you to walk. Really, the pain is like glass in your feet. And I did practice. I taught sitting for 1 year. That's how long it took. And boy, oh boy, does that teach you about commitment, because either you're going to be in the path unconditionally and find ways to adapt and be flexible. And this is what I've really learned. I think this is possibly one of my gifts as a teacher. I've really learned, and I attract people, I suppose, who need to adapt. And sometimes if someone comes in and they actually can't stand up and they see everyone around them standing, they immediately feel not good about themselves, their condition. So I need to make it very clear to people that, and that experience helped me to do that 1 year sitting, lift chi up, sitting, everything, Chen Chi, sitting, anything that could happen standing. There was a way to do it sitting, and eventually the feet healed completely. I don't even have a trace. I walk a lot. And then this year I had a hip thing, like a bit of arthritis in the hip. And it was like something sort of, I do Tai Chi balls every morning with teacher Zhao from China. And one day I just went, something just went, and I went, oh no, here we go, And with Qigong, I expect things to change very quickly. I really do. And sometimes they do. Often they do. Just something there, gone. Like I keep that movement of it arises, it disappears. It arises, it disappears. I keep that always. And occasionally something doesn't disappear. So this was going on for 1 month already, and very painful. Again, to walk, very painful. Pretty much every practice that I love, I couldn't do. And eventually I did call one of my teachers in China, and, it was like, okay, just la chi, just la chi. And he told me, this is Teacher Lu, told me a story of a woman he worked with. And it took like 5 months of daily practice. And that changed my my way of thinking, because I was thinking this should be over. It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks. I started thinking, okay, maybe 5 months. And eventually it disappeared, it's like things that I see friends of my age, once they get it, they lock it in. They put a box around it. They've got the diagnosis. This is what's happening for me. It won't change for the rest of my life. I'm not going to do that. I'm working very much with whatever comes at any point. It can go. And so far, we're doing pretty well with that. So it's an interesting journey. The journey of Qigong and aging, one of my interests. I would just add to that, it requires nothing less than changing your entire reference framework. Everything has to change, and we're so deeply conditioned, not just from family, but the culture, the society. It runs very deep. And many Qigong practitioners, I think everything's fine when it's fine. As soon as something happens, it reactivates the old way of seeing it. And I think this is a big one with diagnosis, Western medicine, how to treat it, what is Qi and Zhineng Qigong really capable of. So I'm in it for the long haul.